Hello everyone. In the paper first of SYBSc, we are studying the volumetric analysis chapter. In that, we have studied the different types of the titrations. So in that case, the first type is the neutralization titration. In that, further it is divided into 4 types. So we have seen the titration curve for the strong acid, strong base, then weak acid, strong base, and now third we are going to study the strong acid and weak base titration. So we know that during the titration process we are taking the standard solution or the standard substance in the burette, and in conical flask we are taking the substance or the sample whose concentration is to be determined. So in this case, when strong and weak electrolytes are used, so in that case we know that the strong electrolytes will get dissociate completely in the aqueous solution, and weak electrolyte will dissociate partially or it cannot dissociate completely into ions in the aqueous solution. So its strength is less, so that it is called as the weak electrolyte. But whenever we are doing the titration, performing the titration of strong electrolyte with the weak electrolyte, then the strong electrolyte should be taken in the burette and the weak electrolyte should be taken in the conical flask. So next type of the neutralization titration, third, it is the titration of the strong acid with the weak base. So we are going to consider again the graph or the curve for this titration. So in this case, for example, we can consider the titration of weak base like ammonium hydroxide versus or with the strong acid, that is example is the HCl. So NH4OH is the example of the weak base and HCl is the example of the strong acid. So in this case NH4OH, it is the weak electrolyte, so it should be taken in the conical flask. So we can determine the exact concentration of the weak electrolyte because its concentration cannot be determined, can determine it from the titrometric analysis because it is poorly or partially dissociate or it will not completely dissociate in the solution. So in this case we have to fill the burette with the 0.1 normal of HCl. Again, for all the titrations we are taking the one sample, that is 0.1 normal or molar concentration. So in this case burette is filled with the 0.1 normal HCl, and in the conical flask we can take the 10 ml of the ammonium hydroxide solution. So further now dropwise acid is added to the ammonium hydroxide. So at the start, now whole solution in the conical flask, it is basic in nature. So our pH will start at the higher value. So basically first the solution having the alkaline pH. When we are adding the HCl drop by drop or slowly, then what happens? Slowly basic medium or base will get neutralized slowly and the basic pH will get decreased, that is pH value goes on decreasing and acidity goes on increasing. So first up to equivalence point the total acid will get utilized for the neutralization reaction. After equivalence point we are getting the corresponding value of the acidic pH. Now let us see the graph or titration curve for this titration. So again we have plotted the graph of pH versus the ml of the 0.1 normal HCl added. So now we can see here in this graph our pH at the start, it is having value nearly 11. So pH at the start for the first titration of the strong acid strong base, the pH at the start is the 1. So here there is change in the pH at the start of the titration. Here 11 is the value of the pH, we can see here from 11 value of the pH, graph is going to start slightly bent at this position, and when the HCl is added slowly, nearly 5 ml, 10 ml, 15 ml, 20, 25 up to the 24.5, this is the value here, up to 24.5 of ml added of HCl. So there is no change in the pH is observed. It is completely linear. The graph is completely linear. There is no change in the pH values observed up to 24.5. So after that, what happens? After the value 24.9, there is downward bend is observed at this point. There is downward bend in the graph is observed at the 24.9 value. Further, if we add the small amount of HCl, then from 24.9 to 25.1, there is again sharp change in the pH is observed. So this is the linear, and the sharp abrupt change in the pH is observed from the nearly 24.9 to 25.1. So this is the area of the end point for this titration, and in this case at this point again at about from the 25.1 to 25.2, there is again slight bend is observed at the lower side on this curve, and after or above 25.2 from this point, there is no change in the pH is observed. So practically it will give the linear graph. So from this graph we can see here the different values of the pH that is given for the indicator that can be put on the range between this graph. So it can be put at the top side here. First is the phenolphthalein indicator. It having the transition range from 8.3 to 10. So this graph, it is started at the pH 11. There is decrease in the pH at this value. So some part of this end point, transition range for the end point, it is given at this point. So phenolphthalein indicator can be included within this end point range of the pH. Then next it is the bromothymol blue indicator. It having the transition range 6 to 7.6. So again it is included in this curve range of the end point. Then methyl red having 4.2 to 6.3 and methyl orange 3.1 to 4.4. All these indicators, they having their transition state, transition range within the equivalence point or the end point range of the pH value from this, between these 2 points. So all these indicators are shared to be the suitable indicators. Now in order to determine the best indicator, we have to see what is the pH value at exactly pH value at the end point. So it is nearly 5.27. So at the equivalence point nearly 5.27 pH is observed. So the indicator which having the range near to this 5.27 or very close to this value, so that will act as the best indicator for the titration. Now we can see here this 4.2 to 6.3 pH, that is methyl red, it having the range, transition range around this value. So this methyl red act as the best indicator for this titration. So methyl red indicator can be used, and we can carry out this type of titration in which the strong electrolyte is titrated with the weak electrolyte. So such type of the transition curves can be studied for the 3 different types of the titration we have seen. Now in this case the example can be studied, or another example of the titration, it is the determination of the carbonate content of the washing soda. So we know that the washing soda contains the sodium carbonate in the varying amount. So if we take the sample of, prepare the sample of the washing soda, so we can calculate how much quantity of the sodium carbonate it is present in that sample. So in order to determine, we know that the sodium carbonate, it is the weak electrolyte, it is the weak base. So we can prepare first the sample of the washing soda, and we will take it as the weak electrolyte. We can take it in the conical flask. As it is the base, we can titrate with the strong acid like HCl. So in this case, we can titrate the HCl, nearly 0.05 normal of HCl, which is taken in the burette, and it is titrated with the sodium carbonate, which is the weak base. So sodium carbonate sample, it is diluted, it is taken in the flask, and the indicator used for this titration, it is methyl orange indicator. So by using the formula N1V1 is equals to N2V2, we can find out the exact normality of this sodium carbonate, like this titration previously we have seen. So in this case, HCl is the strong acid and sodium carbonate is the weak base or the weak electrolyte. So it is taken in conical flask. We can fill the burette with the HCl, which is 0.05 normal, and methyl orange will be act as the indicator. So it having the color change from the when we add the methyl orange indicator, the solution becomes yellow, and at the end point it will get changed into orange red color. So yellow to orange red color. When orange red color is arrived, so that will be the equivalence point for the titration. So we can note down that reading, and we can, from this formula, we can calculate the exact normality or the exact concentration of the sodium carbonate. So this is about the titration of the strong acid with the weak base. Now this next is the titration of the weak acid with the weak base. So as these both electrolytes are now, they are weak electrolyte, so one electrolyte must be the strong electrolyte. So we cannot titrate this weak electrolyte with weak electrolyte or weak base with weak acid. So practically this type of titration, it is not possible, because both electrolytes are weak and they will partially dissociate in the solution. So we are not getting the exact concentration of the ions. So we cannot find out the exact concentration of the weak electrolytes. So these are the four types of the neutralization titrations. So up to this we have studied mostly the titration curve, the indicator which is used for the titration, the value of the equivalence point, value of the pH at the equivalence point. Then the remaining two titrations, these are complexometric titrations and the precipitation titration. So these two titrations we will study in the next lecture. Thank you.